Your cable systems and streaming platforms. If they don't carry it, call them and demand Newsmax. And don't forget to download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. It takes just seconds, and you can watch Newsmax anytime, anywhere. Find out why millions are making the switch to Newsmax. Tune into Eric Bowling tonight. Make the switch to Newsmax. You won't look back.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.
And welcome back. You're listening to WDAY Radio, 93.1 FM, 970 AM. You're also could be watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're also on Acres TV. This is Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm, here with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And you know, even though it's cloudy out there, it's still a nice afternoon, isn't it?
Not a little breezy.
A little breezy, but not too bad.
Not too, hey, we could be shoveling it, and we're not. So
definitely could be. Day. Bridgette, how's your day going?
Not bad at all. Again, I would be okay with a little less wind, but we don't have any snow. I'm fine with that.
Definitely. And we're at 49 degrees right now here in Fargo, mostly cloudy at the moment. And again, it is breezy with wind gusting to 31 miles out of the south. And well, it'll warm up a little bit more today, but it is going to remain windy. We will see a little bit of sunshine creeping in through some little break in the clouds coming up here, and we'll touch on the forecast as we get into the show. But fun things in store today, and we're going to be talking about bull riding, rodeo.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, partner.
All right.
It's going to be a fun one.
Did y'all bring cowboy hats today?
Did not.
I couldn't find it. I was thinking about wearing my boater, but I didn't think that it fit rodeo.
Well, all right, fine. We'll let it slide. But I do hope that folks who are listening who have questions and want to ask them of the NDSU Collegiate Rodeo team, we would be thrilled if you join us for this discussion starting at 1:20 today.
Yep, it will be a very fun one. And we still have some ag topics and headlines that we're going to try and get to today. Maybe we'll sneak a couple of those in our second segment coming up here. But should be some fun conversation with that. And as well, like I said, we will take a look at the forecast. And overall, you know, it's not looking like a bad forecast compared to the last few Halloweens we've had, outside of an exception for one over the last 6 or 7 years. It's just been cold and chilly, windy, and this one coming up looks like it's going to be a very nice one.
Looks mild, I know. And
really
we're not done with the mild weather yet, so that's the good news. We'll hit more on that coming up a little bit later. But enjoy the nice weather while it's here. I mean, temperatures this time of the year in the 60s. We were in the 70s last weekend, 3 degrees away from a record last Sunday. And although this weekend not as nice, still absolutely beautiful.
Gonna be a good one. Again, you're listening to Weather and Ag in Focus. If you would like to join in on our conversation any point during the show, feel free to give us a call, ask those questions or comments. Again, just join the conversation. 701-293-9000. That's our studio line, 701-293-9000. You can always reach us via email during or after the show at weatherorag@flagfamily.com. We're going to get you updated on ABC News, and we'll be right back.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. What was the economy up to over the summer? The government this morning reports on gross domestic product growth during July, August, and September. A private forecast says growth of 2.5%. But KPMG chief economist Diane Swank is still predicting a recession next year. She says the housing market's already contracting after recent interest rate hikes.
Housing is the most interest rate sensitive sector, and so it is the one to respond first. It's your canary in the coal mine. So if it stops singing, you worry. And it stopped singing in the second quarter, and we are now in the second quarter of full contraction.
And she says the Federal Reserve isn't done raising rates. Less than 2 weeks till midterm elections. Word of a break-in at the campaign office of one of the two women running for governor of Arizona.
Police in Phoenix are confirming somebody broke into the campaign headquarters of Democrat gubernatorial candidate and current Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs. On Tuesday, police found several items had been taken. No suspects have been identified, and video surveillance is being reviewed. The Hobbs campaign says this comes after she has faced hundreds of death threats and threats of violence. In a statement, her campaign saying intimidation won't work. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The first accuser didn't appear to hurt him in the polls, but a second woman has come forward to assert Herschel Walker, Republican nominee for Senate in Georgia, pressured her to get an abortion she didn't want in the 80s when Walker was playing for the NFL's Dallas Cowboys.
I'm done with this foolishness.
Walker denied a first woman's claim and is doing so with this unidentified accuser.
He got crushed at that debate. Now the Democrats are doing say whatever they can to win this seat. But I want them to know they don't know Herschel Walker.
No big winner of the Powerball jackpot last night. The grand prize swells to $800 million for the next drawing on Saturday night. You're listening to ABC News.
Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1881 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1881S silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck. Only a limited quantity of these Morgan silver dollar coins are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-386-7194 and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1881S Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic S mint mark of the San Francisco Mint. But with limited quantity, you must call now. These 1881S silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 140 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-386-7194. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-386-7194 now to secure your 1881S Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-386-7194.
Hi, I'm Kathy Scraw. Hopefully you've seen me at your door or community this campaign. I believe that as a legislator, my most important job is to listen. Being a good legislator is about having a relationship with everyone. It's why I've served on the Agriculture and Human Services committees, because there we address the issues that matter the most to our farmers, parents, workers, and business owners. Send me back to Bismarck this November, and you'll continue to have a leader who listens and a servant of the people.
Paid for by Kathy Scraw Victory Campaign.
Get more than just a great deal. Get the Luther Advantage. Every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 60-day, 2,500-mile warranty. Every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 5-day, 500-mile return policy. Use your Luther Advantage card and save on gas, or even a car wash at any Holiday Station store. Get the Luther Advantage at Luther Family Buick GMC, corner of I-29 and 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Brr, sounds like winter out there.
Did you just say?
Yep, they sure did, and it's coming. Hi, I'm Matthew, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. Winter's on the way, and it's time to get ready, including getting new all-weather tires designed specifically for our icy winter weather. Take advantage of our current rebates and availability, and our team can have you ready for winter today. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Busch Light Apple is back for 2022. It's not a cider, it's actually a beer that tastes like apple and goes down smooth.
It's been a popular seasonal beer the last 2 years, coming out with the apple harvest, and this is the third and final year they'll produce this beer. So if you've not tasted it, this year is your last chance. And if you liked it last year, then you better get to the liquor store before they're gone. Clear, crisp, light beer in the red apple colored can.
Find it in your neighborhood liquor store and take it home to your backyard or the lake. Busch Light Apple, get it now.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on breezy Friday Eve. We're looking at temperatures close to 50 across much of the area, slightly warmer temperatures out to the west. We really have some nice weather coming our way here with 50s today, 60s then for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's a nice stretch of some really mild and dry weather. Yeah, we need the precip, and at least we're starting to see signs of these storms at least entering the west coast, and we need these things to slow down, though. They've been racing on shore and then crossing the Rockies or going south of us, so we need these to slow down, kind of like the one we had earlier in the week where we had quite a bit of precip out to the west, but not much for us. So we need a few more of those storms to roll through here, and at least we're seeing signs that at least is a possibility. But after this mild stretch of weather, we're going to cool down late next week. I still don't see any Arctic air, but cooler air for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, we need some of these systems to just kind of directly go over us. We get in a little bit of rain, and Haven't looked at the drought monitor today quite yet. We'll pull that up, but definitely the drought conditions have been expanding across the area, and that's never a good thing. I guess just thankfully, we're not in the middle of the growing season right now. I mean, it was kind of a struggle there for a little bit, but, right now it's not overly important to get it this minute. We just need to get some in this first LRC cycle.
Yeah, if this is a dry LRC cycle for our area, it doesn't bode well for the rest of the season, but again, we still have a ways to go, so it's just been a dry 2.5 weeks here. So that's pretty much guaranteed a dry start to the LRC cycle. Now, the one big storm that, again, hit earlier this week, it'll be interesting to see how that materializes next time around, because it was kind of in two pieces, one in the northern plains, and then there's a second piece that shot down in the southern plains. And if that thing comes at us next go-around, more than likely not going to be the same track, and hopefully gets a little more precip out of that next time around.
Yeah, definitely. Bridgette, how is ag community and cattle ranching, how is that being affected by the dry weather right now with all of it?
Okay, so this is kind of a little interesting take on things. This is a time of year where a lot of producers are bringing their calves and their cows home from pasture. And with the dry conditions that you've got, you're putting calves into probably a smaller dry lot versus the cows, because it's weaning time, right? If they're 4 or 5 months old, you want to start separating cows from calves. And when you do that, when you're weaning and you put them in these small dry lot pens and it's dusty, calves are smaller, lower to the ground. They can actually get dust pneumonia because of that. And so producers have to keep an eye on them to try to prevent that from happening, because you do have to treat for dust pneumonia in a cow just like you would treat in a human.
And how dangerous is this for the cattle or the calves? Does this sound like a high death rate?
Well, if it goes unchecked for you, it would be the same situation for cows. So a couple of things that producers do when they bring those calves home. They have a tendency to also walk through the lots to make sure that if anybody looks like they're in distress or injured, that they take the time to treat them, make sure that they're well taken care of. And, this is going to be pretty relatable, Justin, because you have a new baby at home. You had to teach them how to drink from the bottle, and later on you're going to teach them how to eat real food. Well, when you bring calves home from the pasture, they've never seen a water fountain before. And so literally farmers have to teach them how to drink from a water fountain instead of just a stream or a stock pond. One guy's pretty inventive. He got a little bird bath bubbler, and it would make noise, and then the calves would sense that there was water there and learn how to drink from the water tank. I thought that was a pretty cool idea, actually.
That's a really fun idea. I didn't really think about that. You got to teach them how to do everything, just like a little person.
Just like a kid.
Right.
Oh,
just like a kid, because you're now separating them, the calves from the cows. The cows are probably in a pen close by, but the calf is no longer just taking all of its nutrition from the cow. So they've got to learn how to drink more water on their own, not just from a stock dam. And feed-wise, they've got to learn how to eat out of a feed bunk. Or use hay bales or something like that. So it's a whole learning curve when you get to be at that weaning stage with your calves.
Right. And have you heard of any reports coming in that, with the dry conditions, that people are already starting to see these kinds of issues arising with the calves, with the dusty conditions, the pneumonia?
Well, you can. And there's one other situation. With the dry conditions that we had this year, the level of nitrate toxicity in hay can be a lot higher. So if you are a producer who was out this summer, was cutting hay, putting up hay bales, it may be a good idea, and hopefully you did this earlier in the season, to have some of that hay tested for the nitrate toxicity to make sure it's not too high, because then you have to blend that off so you don't have a concentrated level that could be fed to your animals. If you're buying hay, maybe you're in a situation where you had a shortfall and you didn't get to make as much hay as you wanted. This is especially important to test hay that you're buying and bringing in to make sure that it's healthy for your animals, because after you've gone through all this work where you're raising them and now you're about to vaccinate, you really don't want to let things fall apart. So you got to keep things going well.
Oh.
And one of the people that we're going to be able to talk about, and maybe this is a little different when we equate it to horses, will be our guest today. And we've got two. Micah Gutty, she is a member of the NDSU Collegiate Rodeo team. And then one of the advisors, Kelly Brost, is going to join us. So I look forward to hearing from them about where they're competing, what types of contests they're in, and we'll answer that same question that we talked about a little bit off the scenes yesterday, and that was, do they bring their own bulls Nope, they just bring their own horses, and we'll find out why.
Hi, this is Kevin Piper with Piper's Auction Company. Piper's upcoming October auctions include 442 acres of crop and pasture land in McHenry County, 159 acres of exceptional cropland in Ward County, 1,620 acres of crop and pasture land in Emmons County, south of Bismarck, North Dakota, and 80 acres of hunting land in Roseau County, Minnesota. View these auctions and many more land and farm estate retirement auctions at pipers.com.
Did you know that periodontal disease is the #1 health problem in small animal patients? Hello, I'm Dr. Calderwood, a veterinary dental practitioner at Prairie Winds Veterinary Center. By 2 years of age, 80% of dogs and 70% of cats have some form of periodontal disease. If you notice a change in your pet's playful habits, breath, or facial swelling, there's a chance that your pet is suffering from mouth pain. Prairie Winds Veterinary Center can help. Call us at 701-356-5600 or learn more at prairiewindsvet.com.
There are a million reasons to love a pet, and a million more to love a shelter pet. During the month of October, Muscatel Subaru has teamed up with Homeward Animal Shelter of Fargo to find forever homes for shelter pets by donating $100 each day of the month for pet adoption fees. Having Muscatel Subaru help with adoption fees makes this a great time to consider adopting a four-legged companion. Go to homewardonline.org to see available pets and to make an appointment today.
Fair Meadow Nursing Home is a 42-bed skilled nursing facility in Fertile, Minnesota. They pride themselves on the small-town, close-knit home environment feel they provide their residents. Now hiring for the following positions: CNAs, LPNs, RNs, PTAs, TMAs, and universal workers. Fair Meadow Nursing Home is committed to providing seniors a rich, meaningful, and dignified life, focusing on physical, social, spiritual, and emotional needs in order to provide the best life journey possible.
Attention North Dakota farmers. When asked if he supported federal crop insurance, Rick Becker, candidate for the U.S. Senate, said,
"No, I don't support any federal insurance."
It's clear that Rick Becker doesn't understand the importance of federal crop insurance to farmers and ranchers. Without federal crop insurance, North Dakota would be just one natural disaster away from wiping out our ag economy. It is also clear that Rick Becker has little respect for our farmers and ranchers.
The American farmer was the epitome of a rugged individual that was on their own, that made their way, and they've become barely anything more than a tool of the federal government.
Rick Becker will end federal crop insurance, and North Dakota farm families will pay the price.
North Dakota Strong, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at northdakotastrong.org.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I am so glad that you are joining us today. This is Dean Wysocki, our chief meteorologist, along with Justin Storm, meteorologist extraordinaire. I myself am Bridgette Readel, Ag Director here at WDAY. And we are so glad that you have a chance to ask questions today, too, if you'd like. And you can do that reaching us at 701-293-9000. And as we talked just a few moments ago, we have a fairly interesting couple of guests who are going to join us today. First of all, I'd like to introduce Micah Gutty. She is on the NDSU Collegiate Rodeo team, and advisor of the team, Kelly Brost. Hello to both of you.
Hi. Hello.
So good to hear both of you. Thank you for joining us. We have lots of good questions, and especially because not everybody's very familiar with exactly what you do with a rodeo team. So let's just start at the beginning. Micah, you're on the team. What are your events, and how is it that you've rodeoed all the way to the college level?
I compete in barrel racing and breakaway, and I have competed in rodeo ever since I was a young child. It's been part of my lifestyle since I could walk. So I've done it my entire life, and I plan to continue.
And Kelly, are you also a competitor before you were an advisor? How does that tie into what you do?
Yeah, so I did not rodeo at the collegiate level. I did in high school, and I have been involved in the equine industry my whole life doing different things.
This opportunity came up this fall to coach the team, and I've had a great experience so far and been really excited to be a part of it.
And
okay, ladies. Go ahead, Dean.
Okay, I was going to ask Micah. So, what kind? I mean, you know, there's back in the day they used to have those bull rides in the bars or some, you know, in some places, and it used to be fun watching those people try and stay on, and they end up just getting thrown off. What kind of training do you have to go through to become basically a professional bull rider?
Well, I personally am not a bull rider, but there are Lathan DeMontney is on the team, and he is bull riding, and they really have to do any sort of training like any normal athlete, right? So there's some strength training that goes in, there's cardio. We really want to work on our balance, and the club actually has a mechanical bull that he can practice on. But a lot of it's going to come from natural talent and instinct as well as putting in the hours of practice.
Oh, interesting. You know, I had a question. I wasn't aware that NDSU had a collegiate rodeo team. How long has this been established and going on over at NDSU?
You know, I can tell you that for at least 15 years, maybe a little bit beyond that, but that knowledge I do not have at this time.
Okay.
And when you're competing, where are you competing for college rodeo, and what events is the team competing in when they represent NDSU?
We go all over. We're a part of the Great Plains Collegiate Rodeo region, and so we go to River Falls, Wisconsin, Fort Dodge, Iowa, North Platte, Nebraska, Dickinson, North Dakota, and Alta, Iowa this fall. And then we have a spring season that starts in April as well.
Okay, you said a spring season. So you do a fall season and a spring season. Help us understand this is like baseball or something like that, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be split up into 2 semesters. In the Great Plains region, there's obviously a lot of snow. So we don't rodeo during the winter outside, cold and hard-packed ground. So in the off-season, we're practicing. In the fall, we do, you know, rodeos throughout the region. And then the off-season, like I said, and then in the spring, we'll pick up and continue on for 5 more rodeos. And then the season accumulates at the CNFR, which is the College National Finals Rodeo, in June. And the top 3 from each region in their event get to go and participate.
So how does this work with, I'm trying to think of what would be the right way, like scoring or record? You guys get points for how well you do, and does that kind of like go together towards your season? It ends up giving you like a seed to be one of that top 1, 2, or 3 to go to the next level in the tournament?
Yep, so each rodeo there's a long go and a short go where you can earn points in the long go, the average, and the short go, and then those accumulate for until the end of the season, where that determines if you're in the top 3 to go to the College National Finals.
Your long go is like the 3 rounds, and then your short go is like the finals for each rodeo. So everybody gets a chance to ride, and then they can qualify to go into the short go, which is the finals of each rodeo. And then from there, you rack up your points to be at the top in the region, and then hopefully win a chance to go to the CNFR.
Right, and with the points that go, how do you get the points? Like, where does the scoring come into play with all the different events, and what amount of events do you do at these competitions?
So for me personally, I compete in barrel racing and breakaway. So in barrel racing, the top 10 times, the fastest times, the top 10 accumulate points, and then so it's just the fastest time wins, and you go from there. And that goes the same for breakaway roping as well.
Okay.
Okay, so that's something you got to explain, Micah, for a lot of folks who might be listening and don't know. What is breakaway, right? I've watched the events. I understand what you're talking about, but can you describe that for someone who maybe doesn't know what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. Breakaway roping is where you go in the box and then you rope a calf, and then the breakaway rope off of your saddle horn, and then there's a judge who's timing. So once the breakaway rope breaks off the saddle horn, that is when the time stops.
So literally, you've got a calf that takes off the chute beside you. You're in the chute with your horse. As soon as that calf breaks the barrier, you're out to rope, and it's all a timed event for you, just like barrel racing is a timed event as well. And you got to get your pattern right, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, go ahead, Dean.
Well, I was going to say, I used to, rodeo is huge. I used to work out in North Platte, and when the rodeo comes to town out there, literally the whole city stops, and like everybody is out there. And if you've never been out, and I was, with the barrel racing and the breakaways, it's so much fun to watch.
It is a lot of fun.
It really is. And Micah, I guess one of my questions is, how often, now obviously with bull riding you're going to get injuries, but with what you do with the barrel racing and breakaways, do you often encounter a lot of injuries, or is that pretty much injury free?
There's always a chance to get injured with rodeo, but for me in barrel racing and breakaway, I've been very lucky to not have any serious injuries. Our horses can get injuries, but as well, I've been very lucky to have not experienced too many bad ones.
And in your years doing this, what's the craziest thing you've seen happen during a rodeo, whether it be a calf getaway into the crowd or something like that? What's the weirdest or craziest thing you've seen?
Every rodeo is different. There's definitely some things that can happen in each one, but for the most part, they are run very smoothly, and they do a really good job at putting the rodeos on. So nothing too crazy usually.
Right. Okay.
Perfect. Well, we're going to hit bottom of the hour here real quick, so we're going to come back with our guests, and if you would like to join in on our conversation or ask any questions about the rodeo, or for Kelly or Micah, give us a call, 701-293-9000. Again, that phone number to our studios to ask those questions or join our conversation, 701-293-9000, or you can email us during or after the show, weather or egg @Flag Family, and we'll be right back.
There are a million reasons to love a pet, and a million more to love a shelter pet. During the month of October, Muscatel Subaru has teamed up with Homeward Animal Shelter of Fargo to find forever homes for shelter pets by donating $100 each day of the month for pet adoption fees. Having Muscatel Subaru help with adoption fees makes this a great time to consider adopting a four-legged companion. Go to homewardonline.org to see available pets and to make an appointment today.
Brian Kronk here from Collins & Kronk, Raymond James. As a listener, you have probably heard me saying, stick to the plan during these difficult times. Well, what if you don't have a plan? No problem. Call Collins & Kronk today. We can design a recovery strategy for your portfolio and start a financial plan for you.
Call Collins & Kronk to get a recovery strategy for your portfolio and a goal plan for your life. 701-235-0119. Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Collins & Kronk is not a broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we're here to tell you the original My Slippers are almost completely sold out. My Slippers has a brand new all-season slippers, slides, and sandals for as low as $29.98.
This is a limited time offer, so go to mypillow.com, use promo code WDAY, and get all new footwear for as low as $29.98. All season slippers are made with exclusive 4-layer design that you won't find in any other slipper.
They are finished with a breathable fabric so you can wear them all year round. Slides and sandals are made with patented impact gel, making them ultra comfortable and extremely durable, guaranteed. They will make the most comfortable footwear you'll ever wear.
So just go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen and get your very own all-season slipper, slides, and sandals as low as $29.98 with promo code WDAY. This is an introductory offer, so it won't last long. Order now. Call 800-875-0644.
I'm Kristen Roars, District 27 State Senator, and I'm seeking re-election. As a nurse, I'm trained to assess the needs of those I'm helping and provide solutions. As our district grows, we need to address the rising cost of living, the struggles growing communities and farmers are facing, and the daycare and workforce shortages by electing legislators who have the experience and vision to get things done. I've accomplished many things during my first term and want to continue serving as an advocate and voice for the residents in District 27. On November 8th, vote to send me back to the North Dakota State Senate.
Paid for by Vote for Roars. Hayden Wiersbacher, Treasurer.
We've got Brian in studio from Collins and Kronk Raymond James.
Brian, I was visiting with my girlfriend the other day, and she's just a few years from retirement. She was wondering if she can still retire if there's a recession just around the corner.
This is why planning is so important. When Collins and Kronk does a financial plan for you, we look at several different scenarios. We consider the positives or the good times, as well as the bad. What if there is a recession? We do the math so we can answer your questions with confidence. We want to help you make smart decisions like when to retire or what investments to use.
Whether it's a recession or an economic boom, Collins and Kronk can help you make the right decisions. If you have $500,000 or more, call Collins and Kronk in Fargo today. 701-235-0119, 701-235-0119. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Collins & Kronk is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Hi, I'm Kathy Scraw. Hopefully you've seen me at your door or community this campaign. I believe that as a legislator, my most important job is to listen. Being a good legislator is about having a relationship with everyone. It's why I've served on the Agriculture and Human Services committees, because there we address the issues that matter the most to our farmers, parents, workers, and business owners. Send me back to Bismarck this November, and you'll continue to have a leader who listens and a servant of the people.
Paid for by Kathy Scraw Victory Campaign.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right, and when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm here with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel, as well as Micah Guddy and Kelly Brost from the NDSU Collegiate Rodeo team. And if you would like to join in on our conversation, ask a question or anything, feel free to give us a call, 701-293-9000. Again, that phone number to call in live to our studios is 701-293-9000. Now, Micah, I wanted to know, you had touched on this earlier, you know, there's always a chance that you can get hurt, and that kind of goes along with about mostly anything that somebody does. But on a, maybe not like on a scale from 1 to 10, but on a scale, how dangerous is what you guys do in the rodeo with barrel racing and bull riding? I mean, obviously you can get thrown off a horse moving pretty quick from, 6-8 feet off the ground. That can do some real damage. Someone's on the bull and ends up stomping on them. I mean, those things don't weigh little. They're very, very heavy. How dangerous is this rodeo career that you guys are engaged in?
We put a lot of time into practicing with our equine partners, and we truly create a really good bond with our equine partners, and the trust that we have really makes you sure that you can trust them and that you are safe when riding them.
Right, and I wanted to add on to that, and maybe you might not have much information on this, so maybe it would be more for Kelly, but with the bulls, what goes into that? Because you don't bring your own bulls in. You have to outsource those so you don't build that relationship with them, so you don't have that you could say, unfair advantage because you know the bull. Is that correct? You have to outsource for these bulls. You don't bring in your own like you can bring in the horse?
Yeah, that's correct. So you don't bring a bull in like a horse, like a pet, and keep it in the stall, obviously. At points, we must bring in a trailer and outsource a couple times a year to practice on. Typically, practice is done on the mechanical bull to avoid burnout and unnecessary injury. Like Micah said, risk is possible at any time in the rodeo sport or in any athletic that you might try. We do our best to mitigate that by training and putting in the time to learn as much as we can about each animal and each ride.
Right. And where do you guys bring in the bulls? Is it kind of like one place is where you guys just do like a one-stop shop all the time, or do you have to go to different places depending on where you go, or are they kind of provided by who's hosting the event?
So for the actual rodeo competitions that we go to, each host provides the livestock, and that can be from a multitude of different sources.
Okay.
And Micah, does NDSU do they host their own collegiate rodeo?
We have in the past. They've hosted their collegiate rodeo, but we will not be hosting ours this fall.
Okay. And, I mean, like football teams, they've got their specific place to practice. How often do you guys practice, and where do you practice?
So here in Fargo, with the North Dakota Horse Park, the NDSU Equine Center, we board our horses out there, and they have a really nice indoor arena and facility that we are able to use and practice. And we practice every day for the rodeos on the weekend.
Well, because like you said, you're like the rest of the athletes. You really can't slow down either, right?
Right. It's nonstop practice and schoolwork and rodeos on the weekends.
Right. And do you continue that practice through the off seasons? You said it was a spring and fall kind of league that you have set up. So are you continuing to practice and train and exercise through those off seasons as well, or do you just kind of start back up 6 weeks before the season starts, and then you kind of get back into the groove?
We definitely practice during the off season because we do have a nice facility, which is inside, away from the snow and the wind and cold that we are able to use. So we continue to practice throughout the off season and colder months.
Well, that kind of brings me to a question. Like you said, you're using the Equine Center. That's huge because, when I went to college, I made sure I brought books and a microwave. You guys are bringing horses and saddles. You're not just keeping them in the garage at your apartment. So I would imagine you've got a tack room. That's where you're keeping all your horses, etc., and taking care of feeding them, because it's no different than having your dog. You've got to take care of that animal every day after class, right?
Yep, every morning before class, I'm out there taking care of my horse, and every evening after class and practice, I'm out there at the Equine Center.
There's no slowing down.
Oh, there's definitely not.
I
was going to say, I think we got a caller coming in here that would like to ask a question or maybe two. And if you'd like to give us a call and ask us a question, feel free to do so, 701-293-9000. We're going to bring Greg. Well, looks like we just lost Greg. So, Greg, if you just lost your connection, feel free to give us a call back to ask that question.
I kind of got the gist of the question over here. I saw what Jacob typed up. Okay, so ladies, what our caller Greg was asking about was Little International that's held at North Dakota State University. It's put on by the Saddle and Sirloin Club, and he asked if they would do barrel racing at that event. Well, I know you don't, but do you guys, can you distinguish between the two? What would be the difference between NDSU's collegiate rodeo team hosting an event with barrel racing versus what happens at Little I every year over Valentine's Day?
So we are actually putting on our own barrel race at the NDSU Equine Center this weekend, as well as the first weekend in December. And that is completely different from the Little I, because a Little I includes showing other livestock, including cattle and sheep.
Yeah, that's a showmanship event that students from all over campus can participate in, not just kids that are part of the collegiate rodeo team. So if you wanted to show cows, sheep, hogs, which, by the way, showing a hog, if you want to talk about keeping cats together, same concept, guys, if just to help you out understand what it looks like.
And I want to move
Right.
on past the collegiate level. We might come back to this, but what advancement is there past college? Is there a professional league that is held together? And if it is, how hard is it to get involved in that? And is it something you can kind of turn into a short time career? And I say short time because I've never seen anyone in their 50s or 60s doing rodeo or whatnot. But is there a next level beyond the collegiate?
There for sure. There's the PRCA, which is the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, where you can rodeo professionally as a career, and they host the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada, the first week in December each year. I definitely see myself doing the pro rodeo career, as I have already bought my permit for pro rodeoing, and I've started to attend some professional rodeos.
Okay, and I was going to ask, how hard is it to get involved in that next level, like the professional? We think about other sports and you have to get drafted into these teams. Is it kind of the same way, or you had mentioned that you bought your permit into it?
Yep. So when you turn 18, you are able to be a part of the CRCA, so I bought my permit. So then when you earn $1,000 on your permit, you can hold a card where you can attend any PRCA sanctioned event.
Okay, so all these people that are showing up, they're all basically individuals. Are there any like teams that compete together, or is it all kind of just an individual, you go to what event you want to go to?
Yep, it's very individual. You go to what event you want to go to, but on the collegiate level, you each compete individually, but there's also cumulative team standings.
Okay, and then continuing in the professional, and I would imagine maybe you know the answer to this, but is it kind of done the same exact way with scorekeeping to advance to the next one? What do you start off with, just like regional events, then you move into like regional finals, and then you're in the big final in Las Vegas? And like, what does that whole process look like to get points to advance through those different levels?
Right, you can begin in your region, and then you can qualify for the circuit finals. To qualify for the circuit finals or the national finals rodeo, it is based on money earned. It's not based on points. So that's how you qualify for those bigger events.
Okay.
And the money earned is a good point, because there are college athletes can now have earnings. If you're a professional rodeo, you're earning money. This is your job. That's what you do. But does that also relate, Micah, that if you're competing right now collegiately, do you get excluded if you earn dollars also when you're riding on PRCA circuit?
Nope, I can compete at both collegiate and the PRCA circuit.
Very cool.
Perfect. Oh, Bridget, did you have one
Ladies,
last thing?
Well, yes, I do. Just one more thing, and I think the safety factor is pretty important, that we want to make sure folks realize that when you guys are practicing, a lot of times your bull riders and bronc riders are wearing chest protectors, because they, as Justin said, those are big critters. They can get stepped on. They can get hurt pretty easily. And also, you have to be a little bit more careful when you're a team roper. Sometimes you lose a thumb, and hopefully that doesn't happen at the college level very often. Ladies, do you feel like it's a little bit safer than when you go to the professional level?
It's very rare for those injuries to happen, but they definitely can happen. But like I said, we, as participants in rodeo, we make sure to practice correctly so that we can avoid any injuries.
That's great to know.
Oh, great. Well, Micah and Kelly, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on Weather and Ag in Focus. If anyone out there is listening, they want to be able to follow or maybe get in contact with you guys and the team or see what you guys are doing in the upcoming future, where could they go to get that information or follow you guys?
Yeah, if they want to check out the NDSU Rodeo Club Facebook page, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And when we come back, we're going to touch on the forecast again, take a little look at some regional and national weather. And I think we still got a couple of ag topics and headlines to get to. And again, if you'd like to join our conversation or ask us a question, it's your opportunity to 701-293-9000. Again, that phone number to reach us, 701-293-9000. And we'll be right back.
Find trustworthy car repair.
Okay, here's what I found.
Hi, I'm Matthew, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're confident that we can handle whatever your vehicle needs. From hybrid cars to full-size trucks, no job is too big or too small for our ASE certified technicians. We focus on quality, integrity, and giving back to the community at each of our 3 Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo locations. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care. If you're in charge of your company's holiday party or event, you want the food to be delicious and the atmosphere to be great. O'Kelly's to the rescue. At O'Kelly's, they can help host a holiday or end-of-year party for $5 to $250, or for any number at your business or wedding venue, and they can cater any kind of food. Give them a theme, and they will create the menu. Tell them what food you want, and they can make it happen. Call O'Kelly's to reserve your date. For details, go online to o'kellysfargo.com.
Attention North Dakota farmers. When asked if he supported federal crop insurance, Rick Becker, candidate for the U.S. Senate, said,
"No, I don't support any federal insurance."
It's clear that Rick Becker doesn't understand the importance of federal crop insurance to farmers and ranchers. Without federal crop insurance, North Dakota would be just one natural disaster away from wiping out our ag economy. It is also clear that Rick Becker has little respect for our farmers and ranchers.
The American farmer was the epitome of a rugged individual that was on their own, that made their way, and they've become barely anything more than a tool of the federal government.
Rick Becker will end federal crop insurance, and North Dakota farm families will pay the price.
North Dakota Strong, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at northdakotastrong.org.
If you're looking for a great night's sleep, I'm going to give you 2 suggestions. First, go to Comfort King Mattress Factory. Second, support the community and go to Comfort King Mattress Factory. They'll make you the mattress that you want for your purposes. All the money that you spend will go back into the community. Isn't that what you want? It's a win-win.
You ever wonder who made your bed? Well, you should. And you should wonder what's inside of it. Come to Comfort King and we'll show you the who, what, where, when, and how.
Mixed action in grains, livestock lower on Thursday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. of Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, we saw GDP for the third quarter in the U.S. up 0.6% above analyst expectations. That sent the dollar moving higher, which in turn weighed itself on commodities on the day. We ended up fairly mixed, with beans doing their best to find some support with bean meal higher. Bean oil was lower, but that soybean market, both meal and oil, their combined value remains highly enticing for soybean processors to keep on buying soybeans. Corn beans, though, hit the top end of the trading range early today, couldn't get through that, and it triggered some selling as the dollar firmed up. Wheat tried to hold on to notable gains following a positive day on the charts Wednesday, but it too was eventually pulled under, unable to sustain the rally. Livestock trade, hogs took the brunt of the selling there, down triple digits with a weaker than hoped for weekly export sales report on Thursday. Final numbers on Thursday: December corn down 2 3/4, 682 1/4. March down 2 3/4, 687 3/4. Soybeans November half penny higher, 1382 1/4. January up a half a penny, 1393 1/2. December bean meal up 670 a ton, 415.40. December bean oil down 112 points, 72.30. Chicago wheat December down 2, 838 1/2. March down 1 1/2, 858. KC wheat December 8 1/2 lower at 932 1/4. Spring wheat for December down 1 3/4, 950 1/4. March down 2, 957 1/4. December hogs, 337 lower, 85.12. February down 285, 88.15. Feeder cattle October, 45 lower, 175.97. November down 70, 178.12. Live cattle October 5 lower, 151.40. December down 15, 153.42. And February down 17, 156.85. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And let's take a quick look at our national scene. And there's really not a whole lot to talk about. Areas that are receiving rain or that haven't received a lot of rain in the southern plains expected severe weather today in most of central Texas into parts of western Texas as the storm system rides out of the Rockies and goes south of us. That's brought about 8 to 12 inches of snow in the higher elevations of Colorado. Great news for the snowpack there. And we're expecting over the next 3 to 7 days that system in Texas to translate eastward. That's going to give a lot of rain to the Mississippi River Basin, which, again, is great news. And now, is it going to raise the river levels enough to really make a big difference? Probably not, but every little bit helps, and any rain we can get into the Great Lakes, into the Ohio Valley, will feed down into the Mississippi. So that's good news there. And Bridgette, we need that. We need those levels to come up because, well, I was just reading that another rail line has said that they've nixed Biden's appeal, and so we're kind of running out of time here.
Okay, so the setup on the railroad situation is that there are 12 labor unions that have to, and out of them, they need a higher percentage to ratify this agreement that the railroads want to offer to the labor unions. 6 have said no. So now they're at a point where they're not going to have enough to say yes to this. What would happen then is we've already had one PEB, it's called Presidential Emergency Board, had to intervene, give a 30-day cooling off period. If we get to the point again in November, we would take another 30-day cooling off period while both sides try to negotiate or at least come back to the table in 30 days with better offers. We'll see if that happens. So we are not off the table for a rail strike yet. And as you said, gentlemen, a little more rainfall in the Mississippi River would make a difference to move a lot of our agricultural products up and downstream.
Because if we keep the Mississippi low and barge traffic, it comes to a minimum, and we have a rail strike, I mean, that's going
to put a lot of stress on the old truckers.
Yeah.
That means the 3 of us are getting CDLs and this whole show goes on the road because we're going to be super short truckers all winter long.
Double dipping. I like it.
Yeah. She's always thinking, isn't she?
Now we're making the big bucks.
Yeah.
Glad I can help. Well, as you were talking about weather, yesterday we mentioned that there's some unusual ways that in the past, maybe call them wives' tales, but folklore brings us some ideas on how well we can calculate the weather. Now, the 3 of us, we believe the LRC is pretty straightforward, but tell me if you believe this one. If you think livestock or wildlife are looking more woolly than usual, do you think they're gearing up for a harsher winter weather?
Oh, yeah, no, I would like to think so.
I would say yes.
Okay, I don't know if it's true or not. It says if a rabbit or squirrels look more fluffy. If that's the case, I'm a squirrel because I'm getting fluffy for the winter. I can see that already. So hornets or bees may be building their nests higher than usual in the tops of trees versus ground level. Look, I try not to pay attention to where they're building a nest because if I see it,
you're staying
I'm
away.
likely going to get stung.
Yeah.
So that one, I don't know if that holds any water for me.
See, now I've heard where if squirrels are gathering more nuts than usual, that will mean a harsher than normal winter. Obviously, the woolly worm, and we talked yesterday about the pig spleen, and what other one? I know there was one about August fog. Wasn't there?
How do you know if well, there's one about fog, but just a second. How do you know if that squirrel is gathering more nuts? Did you ask him how much he packed away last year? How do we have a measurement of that?
Dean watches squirrels very carefully.
Yeah, we have.
Now, about the fog, farmers will often say if we have fog, 90 days from fog, we'll have rain. Actually, that wasn't too far off. In February, we had fog, and then 90 days later, it was mid-February of 2022, we had rain, and it became a big sheet of ice for several days in the northern Red River Valley and north central North Dakota.
Well, now we're going to have to go back and look when our last foggy day was. Like thick, and I'm talking thick.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't a widespread fog. There was pockets.
I mean, it was up and down the valley.
It wasn't that bad
It was
here.
there.
It wasn't that bad here. I know
least
I
up
know
in
out
the
in
Northern
Lakes,
Valley
yeah,
it was
Lakes
bad.
Country had it, and I know the Northern Valley had it, a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, so
90
90 days after.
Well,
that.
and-
All right.
We'll look now.
Speaking of our 90 days, to wrap up October, which will be the last couple days of October, we are here in Pork Appreciation Month, if you will. October is National Pork Month. And for those of you who haven't yet had a chance to celebrate with an extra pork chop, get that done. You've got just a few shopping days left. Heads up, though, there are more than 67,000 hog farms. They support over 600,000 jobs here in the U.S., and they produce 28 billion pounds of pork each year from 131 million hogs. That's efficiency.
That's a lot
And
of pork.
tasty, I might add.
Yeah, bigger freezer.
Nothing beats a good thick pork chop,
Especially you wrap it in some bacon.
right?
Ooh.
Mm.
Does anywhere sell fast
That's
food
the way to
pork
go.
chops? Might have to go run and get some here.
Not
real
unless
quick.
not unless it's a fair and you get a pork chop on a stick.
Hey,
That's
there we
usually
go.
the time you find it most often.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Dean, should we go over the upcoming weekend and
Yeah.
Halloween real quick?
Yeah, let's. So for this weekend, today we're kind of socked in the clouds. We're seeing a few breaks, and I think we'll continue to see a few more breaks as we head into the evening hours. But highs will remain in the 50s today. Breezy conditions, so it really doesn't feel like it. It feels a little bit cooler than it actually is. Most of the light sprinkle activity is pretty much pushed off into Lakes Country, and we'll continue moving east of the area. So tonight we'll turn partly cloudy down to 40. Still breezy, but then we go on a stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 days with temperatures right around 60. Now we might dip into the upper 50s a couple of those days, but upper 50s to low to mid 60s from Friday all the way through next Tuesday. That's a great stretch of weather. Now it'll start off breezy tomorrow, but then winds will lighten up a little bit as we head into the upcoming weekend. And you know, this time of the year, anytime you can get temps close to 60, again, it's dry. We just don't see any precip until maybe, and this is a question mark, late next week as we get cooler weather, but not cold, but cooler weather to punch into the area. We could get some precip as the storm system rides out of the Rockies. Our models are kind of all over the place on that, so we'll wait and see. It does turn cooler late next week, that's for sure, but the amount of precip doesn't look very promising from this standpoint.
Yep. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated all the way through the week and next week, every day, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is Weather and Ag in Focus. You've been listening to us on WDAY AM 970 AM FM 93.1. Also on YouTube, Facebook Live, as well as Acres TV. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll see you then.
970 WDAY AM and 93.